They scanned her ID and chuckled. It was just another ordinary day at the bustling airport. Travelers rushed by, dragging their suitcases, while the sound of announcements echoed through the terminal. But in that moment, as the security officer held her ID up to the scanner, something unexpected happened. The officer's laughter faded, replaced by a look of confusion. The emblem on her ID lit up, casting a soft glow that caught the attention of everyone nearby. The room fell silent. People paused mid-step, their conversations dying down as they turned to see what was happening. What was so special about this ID? Who was this woman? She stood there, a slight smile on her face, but her eyes betrayed a hint of nervousness. The atmosphere shifted from casual amusement to a tense curiosity. As the officer leaned closer to the scanner, the emblem pulsed. With a bright light, and a series of beeps echoed through the terminal. The other officers exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from amusement to concern. The woman's heart raced. She had always known this day would come, but she never expected it to happen like this. "Ma'am, can you please step aside?" One of the officers said, his voice steady but firm. The crowd began to murmur, whispers of speculation filling the air. Who was she? What did that emblem mean? The woman took a deep breath and stepped aside, her mind racing. She had spent years preparing for this moment, but now that it was here, she felt a wave of uncertainty wash over her. The emblem on her ID was not just a symbol. It represented her past, her identity, and the journey that had led her to this point. As the officers huddled together, discussing what to do next, she couldn't help but reflect on her life. She had always been different, always felt like an outsider. Growing up, she had faced challenges that most people couldn't even imagine. But she had persevered, driven by a desire to prove herself and to show the world that she was more than just a label. The emblem on her ID was a mark of her achievements, a testament to her hard work and determination. It represented her membership in a select group, one that had been shrouded in secrecy for years. But now, it was out in the open, and she had to face the consequences. The officers approached her, their expressions serious. "We need to verify your identity," one of them said. "Please follow us." The crowd watched intently as she walked away with the officers, their eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. What would happen next? Would she be detained? Would they uncover her secrets? As they entered a back room, the atmosphere shifted again. The officers were no longer joking. They were all business now. The woman felt a knot tighten in her stomach. She had prepared for this moment, but nothing could have prepared her for the reality of it. "Can you explain what this emblem means?" one of the officers asked, his tone serious. She took a deep breath, knowing that this was her chance to share her story. "It represents my journey," she began, her voice steady despite the fear bubbling inside her. "I've worked hard to get to this point. I've faced discrimination, doubt, and fear, but I've never given up. This emblem is proof of my resilience." The officers listened intently, their expressions softening as she spoke. She shared her experiences, the struggles she had faced, and the triumphs that had brought her to this moment. That as she spoke, the tension in the room began to dissipate. The officers exchanged glances, their demeanor shifting from suspicion to understanding. They realized that she was not just a woman with an unusual ID. She was a person with a story, a journey that deserved to be heard. After what felt like an eternity, the lead officer nodded. "Thank you for sharing your story. We appreciate your honesty." The woman felt a wave of relief wash over her. She had been afraid of being judged, of being seen as an outsider. But in that moment, she felt a sense of acceptance. That as she left the room, the crowd outside had grown. People were still curious, but now there was a sense of respect in the air. They had witnessed something powerful, something that transcended the ordinary hustle and bustle of the airport. The woman walked back into the terminal, her head held high. She had faced her fears and shared her truth. The emblem on her ID was no longer just a symbol. It was a badge of honor, a reminder of her strength and resilience. As she made her way to her gate, she couldn't help but smile. She had turned a moment of uncertainty into a powerful statement about identity and acceptance. And as she boarded her flight, she knew that she was ready for whatever came next. In that bustling airport, amidst the chaos of travel, she had found her voice. And in doing so, she had inspired others to embrace their own stories, to stand tall in the face of adversity, and to never underestimate the power of their identity. The emblem may have lit up that day, but it was her spirit that truly shone. And as the plane took off, she felt a sense of freedom, knowing that she was finally on the path to becoming the person she was always meant to be.